Hello, this is Rev Dore, Jacques Patlien, bringing you the ideas of religious science, sometimes called science of mind or the perennial philosophy, from Sarasota, Florida. Today, let's talk about the 4 habits of prosperity. Why do some people seem to always attract wealth, abundance, and prosperity into their lives, while billions live on not enough or just enough? Is it luck? Is it that they are favored by God? Is it that they are destined for wealth and privilege? Is it written in some book of life above? Or could it be that these prosperous few have information or mental traits that the rest of us just don't have? Perhaps this knowledge has been passed down through generations, or perhaps these people have a natural mindset conducive to prosperity. However it happens, some people seem to have a golden thumb where money is concerned. How do they do it, and what can we learn from them? Being born into wealth is not always a guarantee of lifelong prosperity. You still have to have that certain something to keep the wealth. You know, heirs often fritter away a great fortune in record time because they don't have the right stuff within. They probably were raised with privilege and became a bit spoiled, as we might say, and just didn't care about the wealth. These stories are the stuff of American legend, from rags to riches to rags in 2 generations. And there's other families who've been wealthy for 200-300 years and show no signs of slowing down. What's the difference? Perhaps the ones who threw it away never learned the 4 habits of prosperity, and the ones who kept it did. What are these 4 habits of prosperity? Well, the first one is expectations of good. People who are prosperous expect the good. You know, pessimists are rarely prosperous because they forecast the worst each day and usually are not disappointed. You know, what you expect is usually what you experience. The story of Job is a good cautionary tale on this subject. He expected to lose everything for 40 years, and sure enough, he did. Expect the good in your life, and you stand a better than even shot of coming out on top. Yes, you will have setbacks, and that brings us to the second habit of prosperity. If you want good, first think on things that are good. As Paul said, think only on things of good report. Number 2, prosperous people are tenacious people. You know, this is a key one here. It is always darkest just before the dawn, and you must persevere even when it looks the darkest. You know that most failures in business occur just on the cusp of success. A bit more faith, a bit more tenacity, and success would have been yours. The author who writes 4 books that nobody reads, that might be yours truly, is tempted to chuck the whole thing, but a real author perseveres. The 5th book will be the one, or the 6th. John Grisham is a good example. He wrote A Time to Kill, his first work, after work each day while still practicing law. It was a total flop. I mean, nobody bought the thing. He was tempted to give up, but began work on The Firm, which became a runaway bestseller and a top-grossing film. Of course, once The Firm was a hit, A Time to Kill became a bestseller, and the movies grossed hundreds of millions. That's an example of how success does breed success. Was A Time to Kill any better a book than it was when nobody read it? No, but John Grisham was famous and everybody wanted to buy all of his books. Today, he's the best-known fiction and now nonfiction author in the world, one of them. If he had not kept on keeping on, he might still be practicing law in Mississippi. Rule number 3, prosperous people are not afraid of risk. If there's one thing that separates the wealthy from the not wealthy, is that the average person is very risk averse. You know, few people ever get rich playing it safe. If you want a safe life, then get a government job with a nice pension and be happy. If you want more than what $50,000 a year can bring for you and your family, then you must risk, not at the casino or the racetrack, but in the marketplace. A capitalist is a person who risks it all for great rewards. He or she is a person who saves a bit of capital and then invests it on an idea, a hunch, a business, or a dream. If you cannot risk, if fear and the need for security dominates your life, then live the secure life, but never suppose that you will become rich. No one ever became wealthy on salary or an hourly wage. We hear a lot about the 1% and the 99% today. What's the difference? The 1% already have these mental habits that we're discussing, and the 99% have not yet acquired them. But they can. Everyone can have them. Rule number 4. Prosperous people understand and obey the law of circulation. It has been said, to those to whom much has been given, much is expected. All of life works on the law of circulation. Blood circulates. Stop the circulation and you die instantly. Water circulates, or it becomes lifeless and stagnant. Wealth circulates, or the supply of that wealth is cut off. Our entire economic system works on the circulation of wealth. Here's an example. I took some clothes to the dry cleaners the other day. When I gave the owner of the shop my clothes, I was putting wealth into circulation. The dry cleaner makes money on every article she cleans. She pays her staff and they support their families. She expands her business. She opens more stores. More people are employed. More families are supported. And the wheel goes around and round. At each business or service that I patronize, I am greasing the wheel of prosperity. I am keeping my wealth in circulation. A wealthy person invests his or her money so that his capital can create more wealth for his family and all those involved in his investments. When I recently bought shares of Norfolk and Southern Railway Corporation, I helped assure the jobs and prosperity of hundreds of thousands of railway employees and helped deliver goods and products all across America. I offered a transfusion of blood into the economic system with my share purchase. When the railroad does well and turns a profit, I get dividends quarterly and I also get higher stock prices. If rails hit a rough patch, then my stock can lose value, which is a risk I gladly take. You see, if I buy the stock when it's low and sell when it's high, I can make more money with the click of a mouse than a year of work could bring. And I'm not a wealthy person by any means. Online trading has democratized the marketplace. You know, the 1% could become the 50% in relatively short order if we could get over our fear and try something new. Nothing is keeping this nation from well-distributed wealth but fear and envy. Robin Hood behavior never created anything but dependence. Aspire to be prosperous. Never envy those that are. Envy shuts off your prosperity like a kink in a garden hose. And we have gotten into an attitude of class warfare and envy, which is very unhealthy, not only for the country, but for each of us. Anyone can now become a capitalist for just $500 to start. That's all it takes to open an online brokerage account. $500. Even if you have to take a year to save that $500, wouldn't it be worth it? Open an account today and join the circulatory system of America. Get beyond your fear. Learn how to invest. The online brokers such as Scottrade or E-Trade will show you how. They want you to be successful because their income comes from the commissions on the trades, which are ridiculously low. They're $7 a trade. So they've got to make a lot of trades to make money, don't they? Move beyond your fear or stay living paycheck to paycheck. Like everything else, you are at choice. Make that choice, but then take responsibility for that choice. If you decide to live the safe life and never have much money and live paycheck to paycheck, that's a valid choice. But don't complain about the people who made another choice. Obeying the law of circulation means that you withdraw and deposit on a constant basis. You do not just take, but you give back. When this happens, the system works better than any other ever devised by the human mind. When people take without giving back, the system becomes stagnant and eventually dies. And there's too much of that happening right now, isn't there? Gratitude must always accompany prosperity, or it will be short-lived. When I wrote earlier about the inherited wealth that disappeared in one generation, I was speaking of heirs who did not understand or did not obey the law of circulation. Just because you're born into wealth doesn't mean you know how to keep it. When you take, you must put back or lose it all. Why do you think that almost every wealthy person is a great philanthropist? Do you know that so many things would not happen in this country if it were not for our wealthy people? They give many times much more than half of their income to do good work, research into cancer, art, sciences. All of that is funded by the rich. Sure, it looks good and it's good business, but it's literally the law, the spiritual and economic law of circulation that mandates that as you give, you do receive. You know, hoarders are people that can't bear to give up anything they have, and they lose everything they have in almost every instance because they don't put it in circulation. Until we're together again, decide how you will live in prosperity or just enough. This is Rev Dore Jacques Patlian from Sarasota, Florida. Check out youtube.com/Rev Dore and my library of over 116 video podcasts. For more information on religious science or the science of mind, go to csl.org. Thank you very much. Bye-bye for now.